All right, welcome back to the 2018 NAMM Show. I'm David Ward with Musicians on the Record, and we are at the amazing DW Drums, the DW Club D-Dub, Don. I love it.
Hey, this is. I thought we'd have kind of a club. Did you say 2018? That can't be right.
I know. How did that happen, right?
As you're telling me, how did it happen? Right. I think this has got to be 40 plus for me.
Wow, that's amazing. We are so glad and honored to be with Don Lombardi from DW Drums, founder. You made the double pedal, Don, right?
Well, we didn't invent the double pedal. There had been a few versions before but they weren't mechanically sound. They really didn't work. Professionals couldn't really use them and play with them. Right. So we kind of perfected the theory of it to make it part of a drummer's arsenal. And that was back in 82, 83.
Amazing. Thank you for doing that. So, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what is new with DW Drums, as well as the amazing things you've had for years.
Well, rather than fight the crowd here, we talked about talking about some of the new drum sets we have, and you can kind of show them what we have going. John Good has traveled the world, and his latest trip was down to Tasmania to come up with an amazing drum set out of a very unique wood. Out of that area of the world, and we're doing a limited number of sets in that. Lots of times John will get calls from wood brokers, people who harvest wood and cut it and sell it, and in terms of some things that are logs that will be unique. Not enough for somebody to build a house or a whole office, but enough they found out to make 40, 50 drum sets or 100 drum sets. So you can check out on the website, and you can take a quick look at a lot of the new versions of drum sets that we have coming up. And we have one version of it I'll show you in just a second. It's over here, which is quite unique, and it has nothing to do with the shell because it's minus the shell, as a matter of fact.
Okay, minus the shell.
But a great rehearsal kit or a practice kit. But in the hardware area, a couple things that are really, I think, solve a problem for a drummer, which is always our key. Why come out with something if somebody already has it, unless you can improve it or figure out something you can do to improve the quality of life of the drummer? This solves a problem a drummer probably didn't know he had, and it gives you a whole option to do something which hasn't been available before, which is to quickly change the snare wires you have on your snare drum. So it's simply a loop that goes over.
Wow.
You can take it off in seconds, and then at the same time, and don't just think of, oh, I don't change my snare wires, but like, what, every year, every 2 years. The option is this now allows you to take a snare drum and tune it by not only change what you're going to be doing with snare tension and drum heads, but what you're going to be doing with the amount of snare wires that you put on it.
That's fantastic.
If the engineer says, it's nice, but you have a little fatter sound, Well, if you're a studio drummer and you got 40 snare drums, that's nice, but the average drummer, even on a particular gig or for a certain song, he could even like flip it over in a couple seconds, throw on a 40 strand, put on a 20 strand. So it adds another whole option to a drummer's ability to tune his snare drum. It's practical and works.
I love it. And you guys just have the best snare drums in the business. I have 2 of them. They're fantastic.
Excellent.
I want more, but especially this clutch here. I don't know anybody else who does that.
Well, and keep in mind that what I'm talking about is something you can adapt to that clutch. You don't take anything, you don't drill anything on your drum. Take the original throw off that you have, the drop throw off. You just take off the piece that pushes up against the wire, and you simply put this piece on. So it's a retrofit. We're not making you buy anything new in order to accomplish the upgrade. And how many times have we been on the floor at a club looking for the wing screw because we dropped it coming off the cymbal stand? So we accomplish that by coming up with something that's really clean and functional, that tightens up, but it easily removes itself. Simply pinch the 2 sides of it, and there's a spring action which takes it on and off. Then you just tighten it with the next 2 turns, and it holds really, really steady. And of course, one of the early on patents we had also was the ability to, actually I should have Jonathan Moffat over here to talk about this, is the ability to dictate the amount of space you have between the 2 cymbals. Jonathan Moffat was just here, and he came to me in the 80s when he was doing the Madonna tour, and John Good was his drum tech. And in one of his solos, he likes to have 2 cymbals behind him, and he'll hit it and then grab it, hit it, and but when he hit the one behind him, it would flop too much. So he said, do you have any way that you could dictate the space between the 2 felts? And I thought as well, maybe I could come up with a hi-hat clutch-esque type of thing, and we were able to get a patent on that.
Wow.
And then it actually allows the tone of the cymbal to change a little bit when you have them around the rest of your drum set. So a lot of our great ideas come from the artists. And this is another one. It's like, hey, is there a way? Of course, in New York, you've got another whole world of transportation. Something that could function as a drum set if I'm in a rehearsal setup, or I could play in a practice setup. So this is our kind of a unique design of a shell-less drum kit that sounds amazingly good for what it is. The stand folds up in the bass drum. The whole thing goes into that little floor stand. It's like carrying your luggage onto the plane. And you just wheel it along, take it in, set it up in a couple of minutes. Comes in a 3-piece kit configuration. If you wanted to use your own snare drum, which a lot of guys will choose to, that snare drum easily converts into another tom. So then you get a 5-piece kit.
Going mobile with these things.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, the whole idea is we have our Go Anywhere practice pad kit, which is one of the biggest selling practice kits in the industry, which is simply a practice pad kit that you'd put. So what's the next step between that and a real drum set is kind of what I was thinking. So this would be the next thing you could have where it really sounds, if your parents go out, and until the neighbors come to the door, hey, play on a little something and make some noise, So.
And these look like possibly the wonderful lightweight DW6000 stands on them as well?
Stands come with it, are the ultra lightweight stands actually, even lighter than light. We have the lightweight and we have the ultra light. And the only thing I can do to make it lighter would be to put helium in it and have it levitate off the ground by itself.
That's for 2019, right?
Yeah, right. I shouldn't have said that. Don't tell anybody. That's a top secret thing.
Trade secret. Right.
We will come next year when people hear this, and other companies will have a stand with helium, wondering why the hell nobody wants it. Okay.
It's amazing. And you mentioned your website too. Just got a big update.
Well, more than an update, I would say a complete refurbish and rebuild. Yeah, we actually hadn't owned the back end of it before, so it limited me from doing everything I always wanted it to be, if you will. So we completely rebuilt the Drum Channel website, drumchannel.com. It's a separate business unto itself, so it's all about education. We don't care what drums the drummer plays. We all want to hang out with drummers, and we want to hear what they have to say and what they're doing. So lessons are a big part of it, but the entertainment side is what makes it somewhat unique from other educational sites. And in the entertainment shows, you will often learn much more than you would in a lesson. Lessons will teach you what to play. The entertainment will tell you what that guy had to go through in order to get to the point to do what he did to play it. So it's very exciting to me. So.
And I believe it's Greg Bissonette who does a lot of that teaching. And
Terry Bozio has tons of lessons on the site. Greg Bissonette has his school on the site as an artist track. He has a lot of lessons also. Chad Wackerman has the whole Murray Spivak method. Murray Spivak was the luminary teacher who taught Louis Belson, and Vinny studied with him, and the whole Wackerman family. So basically, you can learn technique. That means how you use your body to motivate and follow the bounce of the stick, how you play. You practice the rudiments to get exercises that you use your technique with. Then we have tons of lessons, Secrets of the Pros, little short tips that are 5-6 minutes long. And we have actual online lessons that are an hour long that'll show you a bunch of things to play. Then the education is the last often missing link. It's like, how do you play it with a band? You can get real good in your bedroom, but when you go to audition with a band, you'll be there with 50 other guys, and the guy that knows how to interact and play for the song and not play a lot of what he's been practicing. Very hard for drummers to do, I know, believe me, I've been there. But that's a real important key. So
keeping it simple, but serving the music, serving the song, right?
That's right, yeah. And that's an art, Absolutely. So.
And I know you've got Kobus and Neil Peart and all those other guys on the Drum Channel. It's amazing.
Tons of artists on there, and many, many more coming, and some great shows. Just did an interview with. We have a couple things coming out with Charlie Watts. Just did one with Mick Fleetwood that was like really inspiring. I asked him, how did you acquire your pocket? Because you just think you grew up with it. Right. But he told an amazing story of how he got absolutely yelled at an early age, and that turned a light on that he had to do his homework, and that got him to where he is today. So you can work at it and learn how to do that, Everyone can.
You bet. Yeah. And your signature snares are so beautiful. You've got, I think, a Charlie Watts one, a Neil Peart one, a Pink Floyd. Any others that are coming out that we might be able to hear about?
No.
Okay.
Yes, we have a lot coming out.
Okay.
None are confirmed that I'd probably be able to tell you for sure because we haven't got them for sure.
Yeah.
But you're very close. We actually do not have an official Charlie Watts one at the moment.
Okay, so that was something special made?
We made it. Well, he uses our snare drum. He's a Gretsch drum artist, but he's used DW snare drums and he uses all of our hardware for many years. So he plays on that drum, and that would be a great one to have in that arsenal. And they're tributes to bands as much as they are to the actual artists. Absolutely. It's basically the way we're looking at iconic bands, and the profit from all that goes to charity too.
Oh, fantastic! That's really great.
And we have a couple of other wacky new artists on DW, and they would certainly warrant something too, because they're really hot.
Okay, great.
So I don't want to give you any tips.
More secrets coming out later in the year with DW drums.
They're red hot. I won't tell you. I won't give you any. Anyways, who knows what will happen in the future? Right.
Oh, that's something to look forward
It's a
to.
little chilly in here. No, I'll stop right now. That's okay.
I had some hot peppers for lunch, Don.
Okay. Oh, forget it now. They might guess.
Right.
Anyways, there's a lot of things we could possibly do in the
That's
future.
fantastic.
Okay.
That's really great. Awesome. We are in drum heaven at DW Drums. Don Lombardi, thank you so much for being on Musicians on the Record.
Thank you for what you do, too.
Oh, man, my pleasure.
Great service to all the drummers out there.
My pleasure. It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to talk with you. So
I
thank
enjoy
you.
it. Right.
So stay tuned. I'm David Ward. More coming from the 2018 NAMM Show.
Let's see if they can make it to the next room.